thank you for having McLenegan here. I am Jennifer Fanning, principal, very proud principal from McLenegan Elementary, and I brought two outstanding teachers with me here this evening. We have Jennifer Short, who represents our 5th grade leadership team, and we have Jennifer Schieve, who is also one of our 4th grade teachers, who will be presenting with us tonight. So we're very excited to come and show you what's new at McLenegan and what's happening here along the ways. So you see we have a few pictures here. These are 2 new staff members that have joined us this year, along with other staff members. Stacy Nemitz joins us from Janesville. She has about 18 years in her field of expertise, which is just outstanding that we've inherited this wonderful person on our staff. So she's our social worker, and she joins our student services team here in Beloit. So that's very exciting to have her. She's instantly made those connections with our students and our families, and is already hooking up resources in our families with the community, so we're really excited to have her as part of our team. Diana Camacho is our school secretary, and she is the first face you see when you walk through the door. She instantly knows who's coming in, and she has this natural gift. When parents come in, if Spanish is their native language, instantly she switches right to that for them. And it's just fluent, and our families are just so welcomed by her, and it's just wonderful to see that interaction between the others. Now, the last one you might think is a little bit silly, but I am so excited at our facilities that are coming into McLenegan, because for a long time it was impossible to even wash a dish in the sink in our lounge, because you had to hold the toggle down, and if you wanted hot water you had to hold it over here, and then you had to find a third person to actually wash it. So with the help of Jeff Jacobson, it's really exciting that we got a real faucet and hot water all at the same time. So that was exciting things at McLenegan, and let me tell you, things are only going up from here. So that's wonderful. Go ahead. Yes.
Oh, okay.
We'll pick up your voice better here.
Okay, perfect. This is one of the new exciting things we have at McLenegan in 5th grade, is all of the teachers in 5th grade are doing the Lucy Calkins reading workshop. So we're fortunate enough that we arranged some schedules, and we have team taught rooms in all of the 5th grade rooms for the entire reading block. So we do a mini lesson for the reading, and then we do a mid-workshop teaching point where we stop the reading in the middle of the reading block to discuss things that we notice that the kids are doing or clarify things as we need. And then during their reading time, we actually get to go around and do individual conferences with the kids to see specifically for them what their needs are, how to improve their reading, and how to excel them forward. And then at the end, we wrap it up with a share where all of the kids get to share something about their reading, either as a whole group or with a partner.
Fantastic. This is, as you know, Beloit has adopted the Lucy Calkins, the writing workshop as well. We were fortunate to have a 5th grade team to be so excited to take on the reading, and a curriculum department that was supportive in providing those materials for us, and we're building those. But then now we've also launched this writing curriculum. So to celebrate these writings, we have a bulletin board that you can pass by and see in McLenegan. And I was walking by this bulletin board one day, and I saw a student standing in front. I said, "Oh, honey, what are you doing in the hallway?" She was like, "Well, this is one of my friends writing up here. I was just reading it." Oh, I was like, that is perfect. Can you just stand right there for a moment? I just got to take out my phone and take a little picture right away. So we celebrate student writing every day. These aren't perfect polished writings. These are in progress as we go along, and we make those better every day. So those change periodically as we go throughout. Every month we do a new writing in there. We also have a board that we're working on for staff writings as well that you can see as you come through the building too.
To piggyback what she just said about celebrating student writings, at the end of every unit, there are 4 units in writing. At the end of every unit, we have a huge celebration to celebrate all the hard work that the kids have done. So each classroom has a publishing party where the kids can share their writing. They celebrate all the great things that they have done. Families are invited. Some teachers might have snacks. But the kids are so excited then to move forward and start a new piece of writing. And it really, really gets kids excited about what they're writing, and they have a chance to share that with everybody. So
We call this our first annual Hispanic Heritage Night. Lenore Keating, who is a speech and language specialist at our school, came up with this idea of how can we really celebrate our Latino families and bring that culture together. So we had our first annual Hispanic Heritage Night where we had all different foods brought in. Our Even Start dancers came in and they presented for all of the families that were there. We had piñatas that they were breaking, and let me tell you, the kids went crazy over that. That was so much fun. But as we look at our attendance, we had over 140 people there in our gym that night celebrating that culture, and it was just amazing to bring families together. And it wasn't just our kids. Their whole families and their extended families were coming in, and families I had never met before too. So that was really exciting for me to be a part of and to see that and watch everyone's excitement coming together as a big community right there at McLenegan. Our PBIS team, boy, are we working. We have moved into Tier 2. So Tier 1 is our universal where everybody is receiving that positive instruction in behavior, and we're recognizing and rewarding that. We're now moving on to Tier 2. So we're getting a little more specific targeted instruction in behavior supports for our students. We just started this week check-in and check-out. Already we've had some positive benefits with those, and a check-in and check-out is simply a positive adult in their lives, and then tracking the behavior throughout the school, but making sure that they're keeping that positive, checks as they go along, and then they check out at the end of the day. So really moving along. We have both a Tier 1 and a Tier 2 team now. We review the data, we share that with the staff, and we have monthly celebrations of those positive behaviors as well.
We also have, in our school, we have a CDS classroom, and we've done some partnerships with the CDS classroom for not only their benefit, but for our benefit as well in the gen ed classes. So, for example, Mr. Jones's class, they partner up for science activities so that either they go into the CDS class or the CDS students join their classroom and they get to do some science experiments and do some science activities together. My class has gone in and done some cooking activities with the kids, so my students might help measure things out to help make the recipes. They also are joining in for some of our specials like gym and music. They actually join the gen ed classes to go in for the gym and music classes. And this coming week, they'll be joining some of our classes for some of our special activities for the week as well. So just making sure that we're including everybody in our activities, which has been going amazingly well for everybody.
All right, well, a few weeks back we wrapped up the WKCE test, but before we started, to get the kids super excited about it, we held a pep rally, which the idea came from another elementary school, I believe. I think it came from Burge, but...
Absolutely, yes. We do recognize that.
Okay, I just wasn't sure where it came from. But we got the kids so excited. We brought them in an assembly. We had some high school kids. We had two wrestlers, Mark Hallett and Gerardo Badillo, come in. The Nightingales came and cheered, and the kids were so excited. They actually had cheers like for the WKC, and the kids were like, oh my gosh. They thought it was the greatest thing. Yeah, every morning when the kids came in to go to their classrooms, we had music pumping the kids up. And then we showed them a YouTube video about doing their best, and it could have been our kids in there. Like, these little kids were dancing. It was the greatest thing. The kids were so excited. And so when the test actually came, they did their absolute best, and it was amazing.
We also wanted to talk about our after-school program. We have an after-school program 2 days a week on Tuesdays and Thursdays that we have 4th and 5th grade students, where we have our classroom teachers and other volunteers are teaching. They get math and reading. If they were below math or reading, they got to go into the after-school program. And at the time that this was made, we had 92 students, but we actually have been improving and expanding our after-school program, so we have even more students now. We partner with Beloit College, so they actually come in and help work with students and help tutor students. And then every student can have busing regardless of where they live, so transportation is not an issue. The students who need extra help get it regardless of transportation issues.
Another really, really fun family night that we had was Trick or Treat movie night. The kids came in costumes. We had 2 short movies for them. Families came dressed up. We even had some school board members there. Not dressed up, but they were there. And we had over 150 people in attendance there, so that was a lot of fun for us.
Our Jog-A-Thon is our one main fundraiser that we do at school, and it's just wonderful because I always say when I have kids come to my door, I'd rather just give them $10 and say, I don't want anything back, please just take the money and put that towards there. So this is just straight profit that the kids raise for themselves for things to be doing through our PTO. So this Jog-A-Thon this year we raised over $3,600, which was really amazing that these kids worked that hard to raise that. But we had a spirit week all the week, so you can see the twins that we had and how well they were matched. We even had 2 teachers, Mrs. Gagner and our brand new Ms. Studeman, both dressed up as twins that day too. So we had different days to celebrate that leading up to the jog. It was a little cold and rainy that day, but you know what? When life gives you lemons, you make lemonade, and we sure worked with it. We went from inside to outside, and we just made it work. It was wonderful. So, and then we wrapped up with a little bit of teacher torture. So some teachers did get some silly string. And somehow I got silly string twice in that matter, too. I'm not quite sure how that happened. But just great fun for the kids to be part of.
We had student council elections to elect the representatives. So we actually held elections where the students elected in our classroom some of the candidates for officers, and then as a whole 5th grade class, all of the candidates presented their speeches to the rest of the grade, and then the kids actually got to vote on a Survey Monkey on the computer so that they got to choose who our representatives were. Then after we chose who all of the representatives were, then we got to choose our classroom representatives. So even if the classes didn't have a representative on the actual board, they still had representation for all of the meetings. So they are in charge of doing some smaller fundraisers through the school and helping plan some different activities that are really exciting for school.
Something we did right before Thanksgiving break was we had a fall family luncheon where we invited all families to come in and have lunch with their kids, and here's a couple pictures. The kids were so proud to have their families come and sit and share their friends, share their food, and just have some good conversation. It was a great opportunity for parents, staff, students, everybody to connect on a non-academic level, so the kids really enjoyed that.
This has been one of our biggest parent nights, the dish about our favorite dish. This has been one of my favorite events that we've had my entire time teaching so far. First, we have to recognize Lenore Keating. She was mentioned previously about the Hispanic heritage. She put all of this on. This was one of her suggestions, her ideas. She organized the entire event. She did some press about it to all of our parents, and she was phenomenal through the whole thing. What we had was the kids prior to the event wrote about their favorite recipe, a recipe that had a memory to it or something that was really special to them. Then on the actual night of our dish about your favorite dish, they brought in that dish and had their writing next to it. So not only did we get to see all of the recipes that were important, we got to do a little tasting and read about everyone's different recipes. And Mrs. Fanning actually partook in that and wrote her own recipe that she's going to tell you about. But this was a fantastic night. There were kids that came in that were so excited to share a piece of themselves with everybody else that they were running around, make sure you try my dish, make sure you try mine. So it was a fantastic night.
We have a lot of themes around food, but I tell you, food brings the people in. I did my writing, and I specifically wrote it with the intention that it was going to be a first draft. And I hung it out in the front so that people could see that. And I took it into a classroom. I took it into Casey Hallett's classroom. And she presented this fall when we came back to school to the elementary teachers about writing workshop with Lucy Calkins. So I took my writing in thinking, well, you know, she'll give me 1 or 2 suggestions that I can take from here and I'll go back and make my writing better. And so we sat down and I came in during her writing class and we modeled that for the students around us. And Lucy Calkins tells us you purposefully speak loud enough so the kids around you can hear what's being taught. So we sat right together side by side and she gave me the best feedback on my writing that I believe I received in my education career. Casey Hallett really is an outstanding teacher, but she has taken this writing curriculum extremely seriously and has done a wonderful job in her classroom. So she pointed out more things that I think I could ever improve in my writing in the second draft, but I have gone back and started working on that. So this event was fantastic, and people came by and they said, and I brought my mom's famous mashed potatoes, and they came by and they said, you did writing too? I said, well, yeah, that was part of the assignment. Well, I want to read your writing. So kids were interested in what people were writing about. It was just a wonderful night, and Lenore just has these great, wonderful ideas, and she follows through with all the details. So we're really grateful for her there. So you can see we have some ambitious goals for parent involvement. This is one of our student learning objectives in our building, is that we increase our parent involvement, and we're actually tracking that and monitoring how many community members we have coming into that. We do have a volunteer sign up. We have that on our Google Docs so we can sort for each event who would like to come in, who wants to be part of that and helping. And the great thing is that we've had so many people sign up. We don't always have to call everybody in. That's so wonderful. We've added the Hispanic Heritage Night, a math game night, which we had, a reading restaurant, which is coming up in January, and then dish about your favorite dish. So we really want to increase that parent partnership, because boy, do we sure notice that when our families are in, they take an active part of that education, and that just increases all of our student achievement. That is the end. Do you have questions for any of the Jennifers here tonight?